Sup, sup. Whisky Rat and I are here. Post-conference action. Give you a little recap of this year's DIY Musicians Conference hosted by CD Baby. Last year we took over Nashville. This year we took over Austin. Austin is a cool town, even though it does have this slogan about keep Austin weird. And of course, there were plenty of weird, random stuff that we, came across. So check that one out up there. And that one right there. And that one down there. That one's pretty dope though. So, it's part of what makes the weird kind of awesome. But anyway, as every year with the conference, this is my second one. I always get something out of it between the keynote speakers, catching up with some of my old friends and making new friends. Always get something out of it. I think what I love the most is the camaraderie that occurs, because you've got people from basically like everywhere. Like this one cat, gotta love his style. He's all the way here from Belize, total random place, but I love that everyone comes together under the common theme of music and creativity. Whether you're an artist or a manager or, a booking agent, whatever you got going, there's a little something here for everybody. And even if you're just someone who not affiliated with the scene and just want to get some insight on what's going on, there's a little bit of something for everybody. So that was always very cool. Some of the things that stood out to me most, I met Gina Chavez. I regret not getting a photo with her. But she is a fantastic musician and she has this incredible story. One of the things she spoke about is the dichotomy of her life between being a lesbian, but then also within, being Catholic as well, and kind of struggling between that, and over top of that, being an indie musician and then making it happen. But she just had this beautiful, compelling story that me describing it now, I don't really give it justice whatsoever. But I can tell you that after her playing and after her speaking, there were quite a few misty eyes in the room, herself included. So I definitely applaud that vulnerability of being emotional, telling your story in front of a room full of strangers. There's a lot of strength in that. It's totally compelling. One of the other keynote speakers, a guy, I'd heard his name, but I wasn't as familiar with him that I learned a lot of cool stuff. Cat named Simon Tam. He has this band called The Slants. But one thing that stuck with me about him, he has a book. Actually, that's his memoir, Slanted. He had a couple books, but one in particular I can't wait to dig into with music business hacks. So he started off as well with his crew, indie musicians, and built this whole little empire of sorts, even down to having, I think it's a record for having the most TED Talks. I think that's what he said. I gotta go back and look at my notes. But either way, it's one of those stories where you truly came from the very beginning, starting from nothing and coming up to where you got, but then he kind of tells you how he does it along the way. So that was really dope. The one keynote who I was most excited about, who I knew was going to be there, but most excited about, was 1/3 of the infamous rap group Run DMC, Darryl McDaniels. He's a dope motherfucker. If you didn't already know, he's good people for sure. And he has a book, which I know I've got here. 10 Ways Not to Commit Suicide. When I first saw the title, I was like, okay, alright. And I thought maybe, like a misnomer sort of, or maybe it was like a metaphor. But no, it's pretty serious. And, he talked about his struggle and opened up about his struggles that, as a fan, you don't always get the inside scoop of these things. You just kind of see what's on the outside, so gave us a little window inside of his brain, what was going on with his struggles. But the other good thing that was about that, him sharing that, is the reminder of us as musicians, us creative types, no matter what you do, and the importance of taking care of oneself. And, self-care is where it's at, because if you're not in the right place to do your craft or whatever it is that you do and you share it, then it's kind of, what's the point, what's the point of doing what you love if you can't really be in it doing what you love? With that being said, that reminds me of we had a whole bunch of vendors there too, all types of new stuff to try out. But with the whole self-care, because I'm all about self-care, the crew from Music Hairs was there. They had a table, even got fitted for some custom earplugs that should be coming in the mail here soon. One thing I did not know about them was really how much they do. Always knew that they were a charity, surrounded about musicians and whatnot and taking care of musicians. But I guess the best way I can describe what they do is sort of like a Red Cross for musicians. So if something goes down, you need some help with something, you kind of call on them and tap into some of the resources to get yourself squared away. That's huge. That's really huge. Think about how many people who don't have like health insurance or don't, have any extra support systems set in place and just might need just a little hand. You can call on them for it. I think it's really brilliant. And I think every year they also have a fundraiser. I believe is around like Grammy Week or so. So, they raise their funds for that. So it's a kind of non-profit sort of deal. And I totally dig that. There's always got to be enough support for creative types and musicians and artists and whatnot. It's really important. So yeah, for the most part, as usual, I got a lot of good stuff that have come out of it. As you can see, there's books for days. Matter of fact, other book I picked up from Questlove. Well, technically Whisky Rat picked it up, and he even, because he's always on his own shit. You see some of the things he's been up to. Always on his own shit, loves to eat. But anyway, got Questlove to sign the book. One of the things that stuck with me and that I really took away from Quest keynote is embrace boredom. Nuts, right? Well, no, not really. It's not really nuts at all, because within the boredom, that's where the creativity sparks. So like if you always engage and you're always doing something, you forget to step back and take everything else in, and you sort of rob yourself of a chance to let your brain start working. What they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So that's a thing, it really is. And being bored sort of helps that. Think about when you were a kid. Oh damn, I'm so bored, I got nothing to do. You might have thought it was a great idea to take a mattress and ride down the stairs. I mean, that was a horrible idea, but at least you learned that was a horrible idea. Either way, the point is, you give your brain and your soul a chance to expand, a chance to blossom when you embrace the boredom. So, like I'm about to do in a minute, it's cool to put down your phone and just go somewhere and sit and do nothing. Just for a minute or two. It's good shit. So, I believe next year's conference is gonna be in Austin again, but don't quote me on it. As more information comes out, I guess in the coming months, whenever it's officially announced, we'll know again where we're gonna be going back next year. So if you didn't get to come this year or any of the previous years, please make a point to check out CD Baby's DIY music conference. A lot of us, we're DIY people. We do everything ourselves, we build our teams and all that good stuff. And there is a certain bit of pride that kind of comes with it, and the learning that comes with it, and even more important, being able to watch yourself grow. Not just because somebody told you you're awesome and put you on, but you get to watch your process and watch the fruits of your labor. So shout out to CD Baby for bringing all of us together and making all this shit happen. It's good stuff. That's my recap. Once again, I'm going to put a link to the playlist that I made, because I met a lot of really cool people, and like I said, caught up with some old friends that I made last year. So much talent, oh my god. Like, there was an open mic every night. Put your name in the jar, try to get chosen, to play for everybody. But there was just so much talent and music everywhere. Even for those who didn't get to play the open mic, we had up-teen amount of jam circles and sharing ideas and sharing songs and sharing stories and sharing the music. That's a part of what makes music so universal. But anyway, that's it for Whisky and I. We will catch you on the flip. Cheers.